Excuse me, God?
Again? More questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry. But I was just going over the commands you're going to record in the Bible, and I stumbled on a pretty intense section.
Oh, there are a lot of those. You'll have to be more specific.
It's that long bit in Leviticus where you give specific instructions for the kinds of animal blood sacrifices you want.
Yes, yes. I love the smell of a burnt offering, so I figured I'd make it a mandatory part of their worship.
So, in order for the humans to atone for their misdoings, you want them to mutilate animals. Why?
Well, humans will do a lot of sinning.
Sins you decided were sins, and that will be brought about by your misguided plan in the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, so in order to convince me to do good things for them, I told them to make sacrifices to me. At that time, it'll be the only way they can earn forgiveness for their sins.
What exactly does killing animals do?
Well, it paints a picture of Jesus coming to make the ultimate sacrifice in order to atone for the sins of mankind.
Do you say that at any point when giving these instructions? Like, specifically, do you say this is a symbol of my son or anything like that?
Well, no.
Okay, well, we'll get to Jesus in a little bit. But for now, is that it? It's purely a symbol?
Well, I like the smell.
What?
I love the smell of animals burning to ash. Ugh, it's so sweet.
If it's just the smell you want, why do you have them go through such dramatic steps to perform sacrifices? Why not, like, just make flowers that smell good when burned and make them burn that as a symbol? Why go through all the specific blood splattering details?
I don't think it's that dramatic.
Okay, well, okay, for instance, how do you want them to kill a steer?
Okay, well, slice its throat, gather the blood and sprinkle it around the altar in the building, dice it up, cut off its head, remove the fat, separate the guts and the legs from the rest of it, place the head and the fat and chunks on the altar and set it on fire. Then wash the guts and the legs with water and put them into the fire. It's really very simple. This is the same way they should kill a goat or a sheep.
And how is that not dramatic?
It's the best way to get the best smells out of it, and ugh, I can't wait.
You even say something about killing birds?
Oh, yeah. With doves and pigeons, you should wring off its head and drain the blood from the body. Then you burn the head while sprinkling the blood around it. Then pull the feathers off its body and throw them to the east. The east of the altar where the ashes are. Then chop its wings off, but be careful not to damage the wings, and then put those and the body onto the burning head
Okay,
and...
okay, wow, okay. Oh, that's enough. I don't need to hear any more.
It's gonna smell so good.
What is this supposed to symbolize again?
Thousands of years later, Jesus will live a perfect, unblemished life. He'll then be crucified as an innocent man, and this will be the ultimate sacrifice, and it'll atone for the sins of mankind. I'm not sure what you don't understand about this.
Okay, well, what about the sweet smells?
By the time Jesus is here, I have a feeling I'll be over that.
So, from what I can gather in your instructions, a key part of offering animal sacrifices is that the person who is doing the sacrificing is offering the best of what he has to make you happy.
Yeah, that's why it's a sacrifice.
Oh, I got that. What I don't understand is how Jesus meets that criteria.
Huh?
According to your Bible, you are Jesus come down to earth. You send yourself to live a perfect life, something only you can do, and you let yourself die on the cross, but then come back to life again a few days later.
I don't see the problem.
Who's giving up something? Who's making an offering? What exactly is the sacrifice here?
Well, it's Jesus, isn't it?
No, it can't be Jesus. You will be Jesus. And the sacrifice is meant to appease you. Sacrificing yourself to yourself doesn't seem really strange and petty to you?
But I'll be perfect, and it will be a sacrifice because Jesus will be dead.
But only for 3 days. Then you plan on raising him from the dead, so it's not really a sacrifice at all. It's just a bad weekend.
Well,
The instructions in Leviticus paint a picture of mankind needing to kill something they value to get atonement. Animals will be more valuable than currency to those people, so you're asking them to literally pay for what they've done. And you're claiming that the whole ordeal is just to paint an elaborate picture of an event that doesn't match up to it at all. Jesus' death will have no intent, no permanent loss, no sweet smell, no specific instructions followed, and you'll even continue sending people to hell, so it's not really even going to appease you.
I don't see your point.
Okay, let's say an ancient Israelite's house burns down and his goat was inside of it.
Okay.
Would you let that man retroactively count that goat as a sacrifice?
No, he wouldn't have followed my instructions. In fact, if he tried to call that a sacrifice, I'd be pretty upset.
Okay, so when Jesus dies, who will actively perform the sacrifice according to your specific instructions?
Jesus?
No, he'll break the laws and customs of the times by claiming to be divine. So he'll be sentenced to death by people following your laws and punishing blasphemy according to your orders. He won't perform anything. He'll just go along for the ride. And depending on what gospel you read, he knows he'll come back to life, so it's not even that big of a deal to him.
Okay, well, the Romans then.
No, they won't worship you. They'll just be carrying out a routine execution, not a highly ritualistic burnt offering specifically for your blessing.
Alright, well, I'm the one performing it then.
Since when do you accept human sacrifices as a good and effective thing?
I've been known to dabble.
Well, oh, wow. Wow, that's a whole other topic, and we'll touch on that at some time, but back to the point, how exactly does paying yourself with yourself appease yourself for rules you created being broken by people you set up to fail?
I make the rules. I get to decide what a sacrifice is. I decided that Jesus being crucified, but coming back to life later, counts.
Yeah, and that's fine. You can totally do that. I just don't understand how mutilating animals for thousands of years is in any way related to that. If anything, future humanity will look back at animal sacrifices as a superstitious attempt to appease a god they think is literally hanging out in the clouds by sending their finest meat into the air in the form of smoke. Really, it all looks extremely barbaric and ill-informed. And the lunacy will only compound when they see that your ultimate goal was to wait a few thousand years until you decide to just sacrifice yourself to yourself.
You have some good points here.
Usually when you say that, you follow it up by saying...
But I've made up my mind.
So, blood sacrifices for thousands of years then?
Yep, it's gonna smell great.
And eventually, you still want to kill yourself as a human sacrifice to yourself.
That's the plan.
At the very least, could you consider actually allowing Jesus' death to atone for all of mankind's sin instead of continuing to throw people into hell forever because they don't accept it?
What kind of sense would that make?
What?
Hey.
Whoa, there are two of you?
Well, there wasn't originally. At least not until people started calling the Bible inerrant. Originally, it was just me.
Yeah. Paul went and said the entire Bible is God-breathed, and